Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Adventures with
Toad
and Timberdoodle. We are out here today at Round Prairie Park, and Toad has her binoculars out. What are you looking at today, Toad?
Well, we have seen brown thrashers, fox sparrows, chipping sparrows, song sparrows, wood ducks, all sorts of cool stuff.
Awesome. So Round Prairie Park, when you came on as a naturalist 30 years ago, it was already in existence, right?
Oh, sure. It was the first park that was acquired by the County Conservation Board.
And it looked a little bit different then. That was before Jefferson County Park was as developed as it is now. And Round Prairie Park used to be kind of the main focal point of the park system. But because it's so far out from Fairfield, gears kind of got shifted, and Jefferson County Park became the emphasis.
Still a great place to come birding. There's a campsite, which of course is closed at this time because of the virus, but it will be open again someday. And it's a great place to hike and explore.
Yep, and while we're out here today, we again are the only ones out here at this park. So another great one if you're hoping to walk around and stay safe distance from everybody. This is a great place to be. All right, well, we have a couple questions coming up that we will share with you guys soon. All right, so here we have 2 different signs from the same animal, and we're gonna see if you can figure out what animal that is. So right here, we have some scat from the animal. And we're in a prairie that has just been burned, hence the burn marks all around. So that's your first piece of evidence. And then if we come over this way, right here on this tree, you can see our second piece of evidence here. Looks like the bark has been kind of torn away. What animal left us both of these pieces of evidence? What do you think? If you guessed a deer, you are correct. So this is scat from a deer. They typically leave these little piles of little smaller than a Reese's Puff out here in the woods or prairie. So this is what deer scat looks like. And then our second bit of evidence is actually a deer rub. So the boy deer, the bucks, they'll take their antlers and they'll rub them along the trees here. And sometimes they'll do that to take the velvet or the outside of their antlers and get that scraped off. Other times they're just doing it to leave scent and kind of marking their territory, saying, this is my area, don't mess with me.
Now, is there any other sign of deer around here that we can see?
Yes. So we're out here in a prairie that was burned about a week ago. And the cool thing is the grass is really starting to grow well, and the burn didn't take very well along the deer trails. So you can see pretty well right along here where there's a deer trail. And in good spots, like right here, you can actually see the deer track. It looks like 2 lines on the ground, and if it's a nice big buck, you'll get 2 points back here as well. So this is an example of a deer track, and the deer was moving in that direction because the track comes to a point. So lots of evidence of white-tailed deer out here in the prairie.
Okay, here's an item I'd like you to identify. Okay, see this? I know, it looks like one of those Chinese finger things, but it's not. What is this item? Now, if you come a little closer, I want to give you a clue to it. Here's the tree, like that. So that's your question. What is this? All right. So you saw these and you're like, well, Trace, that's easy. It's a pine cone. Well, no, it's not. It's a cone, you're correct. It's a little seed holder put out by an evergreen tree, but this is not a pine tree. It's a spruce tree. So we're just getting picky here. It's a spruce cone. So if you come in close on these branches and on these needles, just like we talked about in the other one about the pine coming in packages, well, this is a spruce. A spruce is single. It doesn't come in a package. And it's short. And it's square. If you run it through your fingers, it actually has 4 sides, and it's very sharp. So just like P is for pine, P is for package, S is for spruce, S is for square, S is for short, S is for sharp, S is for single. So this is a spruce tree, and this is a spruce cone. And you know, maybe it's not a big deal. You can probably call it a pine cone, but you look a lot smarter if you call it a spruce cone. There you go. Lift up this tin to see if anything's underneath. We do have a woolly caterpillar. And of course, these guys hibernate through the winter as a caterpillar. And you can tell he's all curled up and sleeping, not even paying any attention to me. Once the weather warms up, Mr. Woolly Caterpillar will pupate, go into his pupa stage, and then eventually emerge as a beautiful Isabella moth. We will put him back to where he was taking it easy here. Oh, he's moved a little bit. Nothing else underneath there today. We were hoping for a salamander, but no luck.
So here is our next question of the day. This is a three-parter. I know you kids are used to that when you get questions on a test and there's 3 parts to it. So here it is. Here's the first part. These are bones. What animal do they come from? And what part of the animal? So here's the first one right here. This one is old enough that it's broken apart, but it would actually sit like this in the animal. Okay. Second, these are 2 examples of the same thing here. An important clue is that you can see through these holes right here. They look a little bit different, but they're both the same. And then the third part here is this one. What animal are these 3 from? And what part of the animal did they all come from? All right, we'll see what you think. Comment below. All right, so does anybody know what animal these all came from? If you guessed a deer, you are correct. This bone right here is the hip bone from the deer. A lot of people guess eyes or the skull, but no, actually it's the hip bone here, which gives you a hint for this one. This is a leg bone, and this ball fits right in here to this socket, and that's the same as if my leg is going up like this, that's the same thing as the deer leg, just like that. So the ball and socket joint kind of lets you be able to do something like this and move it all around. So that's the ball and socket joint, leg, hip. And our last ones are vertebrae, or the backbone. So if you take your hand, reach behind your back and feel those bumps, that big long bump going up and down the middle of your back, that's your backbone. And these are the bones from a deer backbone. And they stack on top of each other and make a really long line of bones that let us kind of move our back so we can twist and turn. So vertebrae or backbone, hip bone here, that was a crazy one that kind of looked like a skull, and then a leg bone, all from a deer. Good job.
All right, 2-part question. Are you ready? What kind of tree is this? Now, a lot of times for me, I have to see the leaves to know what kind of tree it is. But this one is easily identifiable by its bark. So that's your first question. And the second question is, what is this crazy hairy vine growing up the trunk? So that's 2-part question for you today. You just let me know in the comments what you think it is. Do you have an answer for me? Well, if you said black cherry, you are correct. This is a black cherry tree. And if you look around, there's a little circle of black cherries here in our woodland. There's some other ones. Now, here's how I look at it. It reminds me of burnt cornflakes stuck to a tree. It has little tiny dark flakes, like you put your cornflakes in the oven this morning because you wanted a warm cereal. and they burnt. And you went outside and you glued them all to a tree. I call this my burnt cornflake tree. So this is a black cherry. And you can see over on this black cherry, it's a young one. But you can see, look, the woodpecker's been working on that. That's pretty cool, huh? Finding something in that tree. So, and then there's 2 more black cherries right there. Now, how about the vine? Yeah, you're right. The vine is poison ivy. So if you see a vine heading up a tree, and we got a variety of vines here in Iowa, in Jefferson County, but if it's got those big hairs on it, leave it alone. Poison ivy. All right, there you go. There's your answer.